Hello and welcome to Unearthly. This episode is about strange dreams. I began writing in a dream journal in early 2004, soon after I moved to the US from India. These were a series of 7 dreams that happened over several months, of which I'm sharing 4 dreams here. I dream that I'm with my best friend Dee. We are on a vacation on a beautiful tropical island. I get a sense that we are in Bali, Indonesia. We are staying in a lovely hut that's supported by stills. The next thing I know, we are clinging onto a small blue boat that's completely overturned. The hut itself totally destroyed by water. We are on the back of the boat and the water is rising fast as I desperately cling on and tell my friend I can't swim. In this dream, I was adrift in the middle of the ocean on a tiny wooden raft made of sticks. With me is my husband. He was trying to keep the raft afloat. But I sensed there was another person called Alex on the raft with us. I immediately thought of my neighbor, an African American man named Alex. But in my dream, I was clearly told that it was not that Alex. I was told that it was the Alex from Andaman and Nicobar Islands, who was my colleague back in India. In this dream, I am with a group of people who live by the sea. Everyone there was very afraid. There was a gigantic monster that lived deep in the ocean, and it was going to arise from the depths of the ocean to attack us. A man there explained to me that this monster would be so colossal that it would dwarf any living thing we'd ever seen, and that it was coming for us, and there was absolutely nothing we could do about it. In the next dream, a family was setting up a Christmas tree. The dad was putting an ornament up when he noticed his little daughter looking unhappy. He asked her why, and she said, "It's going to be a sad Christmas." These dreams made zero sense till December 26th, 2004. On that day, a 9.1 magnitude earthquake struck deep in the fault line near Indonesia. It triggered a tsunami so powerful that within 20 minutes, a huge mountain of water pummeled Banda Aceh in Indonesia. Imagine a wall of water as tall as a 13-story building. Massive waves as high as 130 feet destroyed the entire province, killing more than 200,000 people. The tsunami wreaked havoc on coastal areas all the way from Bali to Sri Lanka and India, especially the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which were badly hit. The tsunami sent waves battling 5,000 miles from the epicenter towards coastal Africa, killing over 200 people in Somalia alone. Several weeks after the tsunami, I was going through my dream journal when I realized there seemed to be a connection between these dreams and the actual occurrence. One night, I dreamt that my friend was in her bathroom, lying on the floor. She was dead. In a frenzy, I shouted out her name several times. I then woke up quite shaken as I knew she was depressed and heavily into prescription drugs. But I dismissed it as a mere dream and went back to sleep. The next day, to my relief, she was alive and well, but she had a strange tale to tell. She'd considered ending her life just the night before. She'd swallowed a whole bunch of pills and planned to jump off the ledge. Just as she was about to jump off, she heard me call her name, which made her think twice. She decided against it and went back inside her house. We lived on opposite sides of the town at the time, so there's no way she would have heard me when I called out to her in my dream. My mom had this dream back in the 90s when she was still working. In it, she was running for her life. She was being chased through a cornfield by a crazy man with a shotgun. She was terrified, screaming and shouting for help, but there was no one around. Finally, she saw someone on top of a hill watching her. She yelled at them to come help her, but the person didn't budge. She kept running till she came upon a tree with a large hollow in it. She ducked into the hollow, hoping the man hadn't noticed her. But he found her, aimed the gun at her, and just as he pulled the trigger, she woke up from that dream. My mom was at work the next day, drinking coffee in the canteen. A colleague, let's call her Elle, walked in, someone she didn't know very well, as they worked in entirely different departments. All my mom knew about Elle was that she was a pretty staunch Catholic, whereas my mom wasn't really religious. They usually only exchanged pleasantries, but on that day, Elle went up to my mom and said, "I had a dream about you last night." My mom laughed and said, "I hope it is a good one." To which Elle replied saying, "It wasn't actually." Elle told her, "I was standing on top of a hill overlooking a cornfield when you ran into it screaming. Someone was chasing you with a gun, and I started screaming at you to run faster. You ran into a tree trunk. The man knew exactly where you were, and I was yelling at you to get out, but you didn't seem to hear me, and I just couldn't move. He found you, and just as he was shooting you, I woke up." My mom was speechless. She told Elle that she'd had the exact same dream. Both the women were thoroughly freaked out and wanted to find out more about this strange dream, and if it was a premonition dream. But a few days later, Elle said she spoke to her priest about it, and he advised her not to look into it any further. Mom and Elle barely spoke to each other after that, and Elle left the company some months later. Several years ago, I dreamt that I felt cold hard metal thrust against my right temple. It was a loaded gun belonging to a total stranger who was threatening to open fire. I woke up with my heart racing. Never had a dream felt this real. Just then, my cell phone rang, startling me further. It was 3 a.m., and my boyfriend was calling. I wondered why he was calling me at this unearthly hour. Was something wrong? I grabbed the phone, and my boyfriend asked, "Are you okay? Are you hurt?" I answered, saying, "What are you talking about? I was fast asleep." My boyfriend told me he'd just had a bad dream that was so vivid he had to check on me. In his dream, someone was just about to shoot me. I freaked out and told him that I had just had the same dream. We had only been dating for several months at that time, and both of us were pretty sure that this wasn't our first lifetime together. Now, I am married to him, and we still get chills whenever we talk about this dream. It was the exact dream, except that he saw it from his perspective while I saw it from mine. In 1992, my ex and I were on a road trip in Quebec and were spending the night at a hotel. In the morning, when we woke up, my ex told me that I'd been sleep talking. I sleep talk quite often, but he said I actually sat up that night while I was talking. We were both amused as he told me some of the things I had said. "I need to go to Woodbine. I have to get the story out. We've got to help the horses." He couldn't remember what else I said, but he mentioned that I sounded upset. Right afterwards, I had laid back down in the bed and continued sleeping. As we were getting ready to go out, my ex turned on the TV. The Canada Morning News came on. It was about a huge fire that destroyed a barn and killed 69 horses at the Woodbine Mohawk racetrack in Ontario. We both stared at the TV. I started crying as I was so freaked out and I didn't understand what happened to me. I have never forgotten that experience. I had no prior knowledge of this fire. We hadn't switched on the TV till the morning. It was happening during that night, hundreds of kilometers away, at the Woodbine Raceway, at the exact same time I sat up and was talking in my sleep. When my brother was a teen, he was approaching a four-way intersection one day while driving. He noticed a lady in a Victorian costume standing at the side of the road. Something about her was strange. She seemed to be made of wisps of smoke. He was so shocked, he stopped the car to get a better look. But she was gone. In 2 seconds, she'd simply vanished. Just then, he saw another car barreling down the left just 15 feet ahead of him, exactly where he would have been if he hadn't stopped to take a look at the bizarre apparition. He usually brought the car to a rolling stop to the intersection. If he hadn't stopped right there, that car would have T-boned him without a doubt. Shaken up pretty bad, he returned home. He began to explain to my mom about how a strange, ghostly lady saved him from an accident. My mom said, "Stop, I will tell you what that lady looked like." And she described exactly what that lady looked like. So how did she know this? My mom said that several weeks earlier, she dreamt of a lady in a Victorian dress who seemed to be made entirely of smoke. This lady was carrying a crying baby. In the dream, my mom asked the lady why the baby was crying so much, and the lady replied saying, "It's because he's going to get hurt." "Oh no," said my mom. "Can you please protect the baby so he wouldn't get hurt?" The lady said, I'll try my best. To this day, my mom believes that friendly ghost saved my brother and is grateful to her. Many nights ago, I was woken up by the worst thing to hear when you're fast asleep: multiple fire alarms blaring loudly. I jumped out of bed and checked on my mom and dad. Luckily, nothing was on fire. We discovered it was a couple of carbon monoxide alarms and fire alarms that had gone off with no obvious cause. We just opened the windows and went back to sleep. My sister lives 10 miles away and called my mom very early the next morning. She said she was going to buy us carbon monoxide alarms right away due to a nightmare she'd had the night before. She dreamt we had all died of carbon monoxide poisoning. None of us had even texted her or talked to her or anyone else yet about the incident. It was midnight when my uncle woke up with a start. His dream had felt so unbelievably real. He knew he had to act fast. He grabbed a flashlight and an iron rod and ran outside. It was a lovely full moon night. Within 10 minutes, he had reached the forest. He kept going for another 5 minutes, but there was still no sign of the pond. He was gripped by a sudden fear. What was luring him deep into the forest at this unearthly hour? What if his dream was just a ruse to get him there by a demon? He reflected on his strange dream again, a king cobra calling him for help. Just then he heard a commotion, exactly like in his dream, a distinct hiss followed by a ferocious dog-like growl. There, in a clearing by the pond, he saw a cobra and a pair of mongooses engaged in a deathly battle. The first mongoose darted and bit the snake's tail, and the snake stuck back but missed. Just as the other mongoose was about to nip the cobra's head, my uncle sprang into action. Brandishing the rod, he ran yelling towards the mongooses, sending them scampering away. The cobra turned to look at him for a moment and then slithered silently into the forest. Well, my uncle had kept his end of the bargain. In his dream, he was by the small pond in the forest, watching a cobra fighting a losing battle against mongooses. The king cobra turned to him and said, Don't just stand there and watch, help me. And that if he would save its life, no snake would ever bite him or his family. But he must also promise never to kill any snake and instruct his entire family not to do so either. He lived in a town in North India where cobras are revered, but those caught near houses were almost always beaten to death. Though 40 years have passed since the incident, my uncle still ponders about this dream, especially as he was too far away to hear the cobra and the mongoose fighting while he was asleep. Did you wonder why, in the third story, the suicidal lady actually heard her friend call her name, even though she lived across the town from him? And how on earth is it possible for two people to have the exact same dream? Well, unseen by us, yet alongside us, is another plane of existence known as the astral world. And all living things have an astral body called Sukshma Sharira in Sanskrit. Our astral body takes on the exact shape of the physical body. Every night when we go to sleep, our astral body leaves our physical body and goes off on its own astral world adventures. The brain interprets these events as dreams. So in the case of the suicidal lady, her friend was physically asleep when this was happening, but in his astral body, he went and witnessed what was happening to her. People have the same dream when their astral bodies meet up in the astral world. That's why each story is written from their point of view. You can literally travel anywhere you want in the universe in your astral body. The astral body is attached to the physical body by a thin silver cord that can stretch to eternity. The silver cord hangs around with us our entire lives. Yoga teaches us that only at the time of death the silver cord is finally severed and the astral body leaves the physical body forever. Makes you wonder, is this the same silver cord mentioned in the Old Testament? Ecclesiastes 12. Remember God before the silver cord is severed and the spirit returns to God who gave it. This is not some esoteric or arcane knowledge. It's always been there in every culture. It's just that we have forgotten it or we dismiss it as a superstition. Anyway, why did I include story 3 and 4 if they're so similar? It's because in the second story, the young couple have a karmic link. She herself felt that it wasn't her first lifetime with her boyfriend, so they did have a soul connection. In the first story, the two women barely knew each other. So, why did they have the same dream? It's because, at a subconscious level, all of humanity is connected. This explains why so many people had dreams about the tsunami before it happened. Just like thousands of people all over the world had dreams about the 9/11 World Trade Center disaster before it happened. Key events like these impact human consciousness, and in the strange world of dreams, this can happen there before it happens in real life. So, have you ever had any precognitive or shared dreams? If so, please share it here in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe as I am just starting out and I need your support. Thank you.